One of the unique things about professional tennis players is how they seem to swing so effortlessly when they hit the ball. For example, almost every time they swing, they hit the ball in what I call the strike zone. That's between about mid-thigh and mid-chest. Every ball is hit about right there. Well, there's only one way to do that, and that's through great movement. Joining us in this videotape are Chanda Rubin, Brian Dunn, Ann Miller, and Vincent Spadia. Watch how they train, and you'll understand clearly why movement's the name of the game. By now, you know that before doing any intense work, you need to warm up and do some flexibility exercises. The purpose of the warm-up is to increase your internal body temperature. Basically, you're going to break a light sweat, and the warm-up should last about 5 to 10 minutes. Join us now with Coach Nick Saviano as he leads a group of players through some general athletic movement drills that you can use during your warm-up routine.
Before we get into more tennis-specific drills, let's start by doing some more general athletic movements. Okay, first, marching. Okay, knees up high. This is going to stretch out your hips. Okay, back to the jog. Then we're going to do some high knees. You're going to work your arms and go up on your toes. This is going to stretch out your calf muscles in addition to working your hips. Up high, work them out. Okay, let's go back to the jog. Nice and loose. Now we're going to do some high knees at a fast rate. Okay? Up high, work the arms. Nice and hard, up higher. Work it hard, work your arms. Very good. Okay, back to jogging. The next area we're going to do are butt kicks. Now you put your hands behind your hips, and then you kick your heels up and touch the back of your hands. Your back should be straight, looking forward. Okay, back to jogging. Now we're going to do some very quick movement of the feet, as quick as you can right now. Quick, quick, keep it going, quick, 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 quick. Good. Now we're ready to do some more tennis-specific drills.
Now let's talk about some of the research that's been done in tennis. Two of the major findings involve this. One is that the average distance you move for a stroke is a little over 4 yards. So what is speed in tennis? You see, it doesn't matter how fast you are to run 100 yards or to run a 50-yard dash. It only matters how fast you are to run about 4 yards. So you see, there's only two things that require you to move fast in tennis. One is seeing the ball very well off your opponent's racket. And number two, having an explosive first step. The second finding I want to discuss with you is this, that the average point in tennis lasts anywhere from 3 seconds to maybe 15 seconds, depending on the surface you're playing on. So you see, when you do your movement drills, you need to make sure they're within that time frame. Normally, what we have players do is do explosive movements, changing direction continuously for about 10 seconds. Then we'll have you rest for about 20 to 30 seconds, because that's all you have between points in a tennis match is 30 seconds. Then after you simulate about 10 to 12 points, take 90 seconds. Teach your body to recover as it does on the changeover for 90 seconds. Now let's join Coach Lynn Raleigh as she demonstrates some excellent tennis-specific movement drills.
We're going to do some drills today to work on those specific tennis movements and build your athletic skills. Chanda, why don't you come up first? We'll do a simple roll and catch drill without your racket. All right, Chanda, what we're going to do is move you across the baseline and work on your balance and your speed. I'm going to give you about 10 rolls, and I'd like you to move across the baseline, get down and catch it without bending at the waist, and roll it back to me. Ready. 1. Good. 2. 3. Sit. Now I have you using your outside hand at this point to work on balance. One of the variations is you can do this with 2 hands or with only your dominant hand. Good. Take a 30-second rest. Now building on this drill, we've now worked on balance, but we want to work on a quick burst of speed combined with your balance. So Brian, I'm going to move you across the baseline with the same moves, but when I say go, I want you to burst up and touch my hand and go back to the baseline and start the drill again. Go. Go. Good. Annie, you're going to turn and burst to the fence, and then burst forward and touch my hand and go back doing the rolling across the baseline. Go. Good. Roll it back quickly. Go. Touch the fence, run to me, back to the baseline, and sidestep. All right, Chanda, building on this same drill, a little more specific to tennis. I'm going to move you side to side, and then I'm going to drop a ball, and you're going to have to run forward and actually catch the ball. All right, go. Go. Good. We're going to work on some quick lateral movements. As you know, in tennis, it's very important to develop your visual skill at focusing on the ball. So as I move my hand, you move with the ball. Ready? Good. All right, this time, I'm going to move you backward and forward, as well as side to side. All right, ready? Good. All right. Now we worked on the visual stimulus. Now I want to work on the auditory stimulus. So I'm going to ask you to turn around, and you won't be able to see me, but on the clap, you're going to change directions. I'll start by moving you to the right. Your right. Ready? Go. All right, the next drill, we're going to build on that. You're going to burst to me, touch my hand, and crossover step back to the center of the court as quickly as possible. You want to cover ground in this recovery. Begin shuffling. Go. Change. Change. Go. Good. This next drill, we're going to begin with just a soft shuffle across the baseline. I'll say change when I'd like you to change directions, and then I want you to burst to the ball when I say go to catch it. Catch it with your dominant hand that you would actually be hitting the ball with. Ready, Annie? Go. Change. Change. Go. Good. All right, we're going to begin a movement drill for the transition game. I'm going to have you start on the baseline, run to the tee, split step, break off at a 45-degree angle. The second time, same movement forward, split step, with the racket. Simulate hitting a volley. The third time, same movement forward, split step. I'm going to throw a ball to you to catch. Fourth time, run forward, split step, touch the ground for a low volley. And the last one, run forward, split step, and I'll throw you a low ball. So we have 5 movements forward, simulating the transition game. Each time you split step and move forward, I want you to break away at a 45-degree angle. Let's begin. Now we're going to do a drill to help your hands and eyes develop, as well as your feet move quickly and efficiently. Inside the court, we're going to take short, balanced steps. I'd like you to put your hands up in front of you. It's very important in the ready position when you're volleying that the hands always remain in front. And I'm going to ask you to catch with your outside hand and cross your feet over. Throw back to me. Ready? Go. All right, a variation from this drill, Brian, is we're going to do the juggling side to side, but I'm going to throw a ball over your head, simulating a lob, and you're going to sprint back and get it and bring it back to me, and we'll begin the juggling again. Ready? Go. Bring it back, quick. Go. All right, we're going to do a relay working on quick explosive speeds. You're going to run, touch my hand, and run back to the next cone on your right, and go all the way around the circle, go back to the cone you started, and sit down. Ready? Go. Almost there. Almost there. Sit. Good. Now that you've seen those movement drills, we're going to show you what it actually looks like on court.
We've come to find that there are basically 2 types of players when it comes to movement. Those that move really well and those that don't move very well at all. Now the players that don't move very well at all, this is what we find when we videotape from behind. We videotape from behind so we can see the body of the player we're interested in, and we can also see the ball come across the opponent's racket on the other side of the net. The player that doesn't move very well looks like this. The ball's been hit and it looks like they're saying, the ball is going to my forehand. I'd better move. They drop and they go. Whereas the great mover looks like this. The ball is going to my forehand and they're gone. It's unbelievable how explosive they become. Now this applies specifically to the movement in tennis called the split step. Very often players become too stable when they go into the split step. They look like this. and they stay there too long. They can't get out of it. Their body becomes stationary and they can't move to explode toward the volley. The great volleyers look like this. They're in it and they're out of it immediately. You go from a state of balance to instantaneous imbalance, keeping your upper body in control so you can hit that great volley. Now let's join Coach Stan Smith as he takes us through some specific movements that occur during a tennis match.
You may be tall or you may be short, but you have to be able to move to become a good tennis player. Now we're going to show you how those drills you've seen will apply to specific shots of tennis. Okay, the footwork is really important on the baseline game when you're hitting your ground strokes. Chan, let's have you demonstrate a forehand. You'll start in the middle and run wide to hit this ball. You'll see that her left foot is going right towards the target as she steps across to hit it. Now Brian will demonstrate. Why don't you demonstrate that open stance forehand. As you go to the ball, his grip is a little more semi-western than Chanda's, and so he may hit more balls with this open stance. But in both cases, the hips turn sideways and they rotate into the shot to get the power for the forehand. Now in the backhand, there's the two-handed backhand and the one-handed backhand. So Annie, why don't you demonstrate the two-handed backhand as you start in the middle and go out to that ball. Her front foot will be forward as she hits that two-hander, and she rotates her hips into the shot just like on the forehand. And on the one-handed backhand, Vinny will demonstrate. You'll see that he won't turn into the shot so much. He'll stay sideways through the shot. His left arm goes back. And with a topspin backhand, step into the shot and go forward. Like that. One way to go for a ball that's not too far from your body is to shuffle. And we'll have Annie demonstrate that. Annie, come out here and shuffle to the side. We'll have you shuffle to hit a forehand and a backhand. You shuffle to the side. It's not too far away from your body. You just shuffle over to the side. Just a shuffle step. There's no crossover step there. But when you get a real wide ball, we'll have Chenna demonstrate that. Going to the forehand, when you get a real wide ball, you can't shuffle. You've got to cross over and really go for it. Now she's going for it. Crossing over to hit the ball. Let's try that again. Backhand, now she's really got to go for that. She crosses over to hit that ball. Very nice, Chenna. Okay, now, the other thing you think about is when you're going for the wide ball, Vinny's going to demonstrate going to the backhand. So you're going to go across, Vinny, to the backhand and try to cut off the angle so it doesn't take you off the court so much. Ball comes over there, he goes into the court and then hits it. That way he doesn't have to run as far. The great players have a good initial step to the ball, but the really great players have a great recovery after they've hit the ball. And Annie, I'd like you to demonstrate recovering after you've hit a wide forehand. So come over here. Lou's going to hit your ball to your backhand, and then you'll run over and hit that wide forehand and recover. Nice backhand. Now it's a wide forehand. You go over there and you get back. That's it. Okay, good, good. Now, sometimes, Chenna, people have a tendency, like they'll hit a backhand, then they'll run over and hit the forehand, and they think they've hit it so well, they'll just kind of admire their shot, and they won't get back to the next shot. Okay, she hits that ball well, but it's coming back, and she's too late. She can't get to it. Now we're going to have you serve and stay back, then serve and volley, and then serve the wide ball and cut off the volley. Okay, the important thing when you're serving and staying back is you must get your weight into the court and not have your weight on your back foot. So Vinny, let's have you serve two balls. Serve as if you're going to serve and stay back, and be ready for the return. That's it. That's good. You got your weight into it and you're going back. That's exactly right. You want to serve and volley. The key thing for serving and volleying is the first two steps must be explosive to get as far into the court as possible. The third step slows you down, and at that point in time, you'll be making a split step and cutting for the shot, either right or left. All right? So Vinny's going to serve, and we'll get a return back here and see the volley. Hard in the court, split step, forehand volley. Very good. You're going to serve the ball wide on the deuce court, that wide one to your opponent's forehand if he's right-handed, or if she's right-handed. And then you want to cut in towards where you've served the ball, not down the center, but to the left of the court so you can get ready for the next shot. So the wide one, move in towards that side, good. On the return of serve, I suggest you stand a little further back and take a step forward before your split step, which will get your momentum going forward into the shot and enable you to angle off and cut off the ball, whether it's a forehand or a backhand. Let's try a few. Good one. That was a wide one of the forehand, but you split step, you cut over there very nicely. You went forward into the court. Okay, good. Now, if a person serves real hard to you, you can start a little further back, but still go forward. No matter how hard the ball is coming to you, you still want to go forward into the shot. On your first serve, sometimes you'll get jammed with the ball coming right at your midsection. So a good way to handle that is to step away and try to hit that backhand. Try to hit the backhand. Good one. Okay, now you're facing a second serve, and you have plenty of time. You can move around to that ball that comes to your body and hit the forehand aggressively. Second serve, okay, another one. Second serve, nice and easy. Pick a spot and go for it. The footwork is really important on the overhead. It's just like a quarterback. After he gets a snap, he moves back like this very quickly. On the short overhead, you want to move back in that shuffle position like this. On the deeper one, you want to bring that foot across, and then when you hit the scissors kick on that high overhead. Okay, Vinny, you want to come up? Good, that's nice. Now the deeper one, scissors kick and jump. Very nice. You know, the movement skills are really important for tennis, and you can practice the specific movement skills for all these shots on your own with your coach.
Win.
You know, it's very difficult to make a transition from playing on hard courts to going to play on clay for the first time. So I think it's very important to practice sliding skills on clay without your racket, just to get used to sliding on the clay court surface, and then play as many practice sets and or matches as possible before your tournament. And hopefully this will give you some feel for how to move on the clay.
The first thing you want to do is be aware of the condition of the court. This particular court right now is in about perfect condition. It's not too wet, not too dry. But sometimes you'll play in a court that's very wet, and in that instance, it's going to be very difficult to slide, far more difficult than if it's in perfect condition or if it's in a drier condition. When it's dry, however, it can get very, very slippery, so you must be aware of that. Additionally, as you play a match, it's very common to start a match where this court is very moist, and because you're playing during the day and the sun's beating down, it dries up the court as the match goes on, and therefore the court starts to get drier and drier. So you can actually start a match where the clay court is playing at one particular pace and the sliding is done in one particular way, and at the end of the match it's different. Now, as far as the specifics of how to slide, the first thing you want to do is to step out away from your body slightly, point your toe in the direction of where you want to slide, and then put very little weight on your front toe. This allows you to slide out. Why don't you guys try that right now? Step out, light on your front toe, and then slide out. That's very good. One of the things that you want to be aware of is your balance. As I'm stepping across, you'll notice that I have a nice center of balance. I should be very comfortable to hold this position after I finish sliding. That means my weight is basically in the center between my legs. I'm not over the top this way. I'm not falling back. I'm not leaning in one direction or the other. That enables me to execute a shot with balance and consistency. Let's try sliding out on the forehand. Let's say we had a wide forehand, so we're going to slide out, in your case, with your right foot. Let's see you slide over. Okay, that's excellent. Now, there are a few ways you can practice your sliding without having to hit a ball. The benefit of this is that when you're trying to execute a shot and slide at the same time, it's far more difficult. So it's nice to be able to try and work just on your slide. So one of the ways you can do this is when When you have balls on the court, get a few more here, and you're going to be picking them up, rather than walking over to the ball and picking it up like so, you can practice your slide by sliding over to it and pick it up, like this. There's a lot of benefits to this. I can slide with either foot. Not only helps my balance, it helps me get a feel for how that particular court is playing. And I can practice it over and over without being concerned about the result of a shot. So what I'd like you to do, put a few balls down here, pick out one ball, Brian, Vince, you're here, Chanda, and Annie, and slide and go pick up the ball. This gives you a chance to work on, okay, drop it down again. Let's see you do that again. Wait, let it stop. Slide out. Okay? You should really be sliding now. You can also do this and practice it from more of a running position. If I'm really far away and I want to get a little bit ahead of steam and run a little bit, I can go like so. So let's move it a little farther away, and you can simulate more of a match type of situation where you're moving a little bit harder. Okay? Go harder and slide and pick it up. All right. Let's pretend like this center service line is the flight of the ball. And what I'd like you to do is your opponent is hit the ball, and we're going to pretend as if we're going to go over there, we're going to practice our slide and take a practice swing. Okay, just like so. I'm going to run over, take a practice swing. This way I can check my balance, I can check to make sure I'm pointing my toe in the right direction, and that I'm comfortable without worrying about how to hit the ball. So let's see you do that one at a time. First, Brian, let's see you hit a backhand. Center service line is a shot. Very nice. Now, one of the things you want to do is Brian's weight was a little bit over the top. You want to have your weight more centered. Vince, go ahead. Again, that's a nice slide, getting good distance. He had his toe was lightly on the ground, so he had a nice distance on the slide. But again, in that case, you want your weight's a little bit forward too much like this. It should be nice and centered. Let's try it one more time. Brian, light on your front toe. Let's see a nice slide. That's the idea. Much better on the front toe. Vince? Excellent. That weight balance was much better. One of the things when you're playing on clay is that, generally speaking, you should slide before the hit and be completely stopped before the hit. Now, if a ball is hit right at me, as you can see, I really don't need to slide. I can just set my feet up and execute the shot. Not a big deal. So we don't have to be concerned with sliding when it's right there in front of us. We don't have to move very much. However, as we get pushed out wider, if you rotate the shots back and forth to me here, you'll see that I will slide first. A little harder and a little wider. And I'm completely stopped when I execute the shot. Now, the reason for this is that enables me to have a solid foundation and base when I go to execute my shot. Also, it gives me the opportunity to quickly recover. Now, if I were to slide during the hit, this is what happens. And that's what you often see on clay. Now, there are two occasions when you slide after the hit. And they are, if I'm pulled really wide and I'm in serious trouble, I'm going to hit a defensive shot and I can barely get to the ball. Then I will run hard, hit the ball, and slide afterwards and hit a defensive shot, which gives me time to recover. In that case, I've hit and I've slid after the shot. Let's say I've decided I want to hit a winner, and it's got to be a winner because I can barely get to it. So, and then I slide after the hit. The reason that I'm looking to hit a winner is because I know I'm going to slide after the hit and I'm going to be out of the point. So what I'd like to do is have one of you at a time. Brian first, come out here and we'll feed you some balls. and let's see how you move. Another area that is crucial to performing well on a clay court surface is recovery. Now, one of the keys here is that you must establish your balance a split second before your opponent hits the ball. Not as they're hitting the ball, you must start getting your balance a split second before. We do this by the use of a split step. So it'll look like this. I hit a ball, I come back, they're about to contact the ball, split step. This enables me to go in either direction. If I am moving as my opponent hits the ball and I plant my foot, I'll slip and fall. All right, let's hit a few. All right, when we're talking about volleying, the same basic movement principles apply. I'm going to want to slide before the hit in most occasions. I want to have a good center of balance. I'm going to reach out for the shots, bend low. This way I have a nice center of balance and I can recover immediately. So watch as I move. I'll do the same things that I do off the ground. I'll put my foot down. I'll slide before the hit. I'm looking to be light on the front toe. I want to be completely stopped as I contact the ball. My balance is centered, like so. Mastering how to move on clay court surfaces takes time, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't go well right away. Go out, practice hard, you'll see that you'll improve steadily, and you'll also have a heck of a lot of fun as you master how to move on these surfaces.
Let's say that you've been placed in a situation that you can't anticipate. Well, now how do you move effectively? This is a combination of what we call reaction time and movement time, which causes you to respond effectively. Reaction time is simply this. You see the ball come off your opponent's racket and your brain sends a signal to the muscle. That's reaction time. Movement time is the muscle contracts and creates movement. Now, the combination of those two allows you to explode to the ball and hit the shot as well as you can. Here's what we want you to practice. You have to work on seeing the ball effectively, using the ball as a stimulus, practicing, exploding. Every time the opponent hits the ball, make sure you react with your feet. Cause movement. Don't just be stagnant on the court. And then make sure you explode to every shot. Work on that first step. If you practice that way, we know you'll learn to move more effectively on the court.